Well, it's certainly cozy season. It feels as though winter is just around the corner with the latest snowfall, and that has me reaching for cozier, warmer, heartier meals full of seasonal vegetables, rich spices, and the soft, doughy feel of bagels and sourdough in the morning. For me, autumn is a time of creativity and personal growth. I like to make space to experiment with new recipes and new ideas and trying to better understand the science of some kind of food making like bread. In today's video, I want to share with you some of my favourite comforting meals I make in autumn and also some of the things I've been recently experimenting with. I also want to say a massive thank you to Back Market for sponsoring today's video. As you know, I'm a huge fan of buying refurbished tech rather than new because I truly think it is the most sustainable option. Okay, if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe so that you never miss another video in this cozy season series. Grab a cup of tea and let's get into it. So last night I started a sourdough loaf and some bagels. I've been trying to basically redo all the recipes that I like doing, like focaccia and bagels and bread, but make them with sourdough. Now that I've really got my sourdough starter very active and bubbly, it's really exciting to be able to just adjust all my recipes and relearn how to do them, but with my own starter. The sourdough bread is tasting really good, and I made a batch of bagels yesterday just to try them out, and now we're making another batch today. There are two things that are currently going wrong. Sourdough, I'm finding it very hard to get an ear. I think either I'm baking too hot or I'm not cutting at the right angle or there's something going on with the shaping. Something's going on. So I'm really taking meticulous notes to ensure that when something goes right, I understand why it went right and perhaps I can figure out what went wrong and why. With the bagels, it's definitely the shaping. I think that they turned out really beautifully. They popped up really nicely and I really like the recipe. But they did split a little bit at the bottom because they rose so much and my shaping was a little bit off. So we're going to try a different shaping. Instead of having them as a ball and then putting a hole through them, we're going to roll them out flat and then roll them back up again and then turn them into a bagel shape. So that's what we're going to do now. The sourdough bread is just about finished, which is really exciting. And then we're going to make the first recipe of this video, which honestly is one of my favorites. I made it in a couple videos ago and a lot of you asked for the recipe, so everything will be in the description below and I will also put everything on the screen as we go through. This is why I take meticulous notes now, because I was not a note taker before. I'd put, you know, a bit of this and a bit of that and not really know how to replicate those recipes. So hopefully with all my notes, everything will go a lot more smoothly and we can replicate recipes really easily. We're going to be starting with one of my favorite curries that I've been making for quite a few years now. And if you have a Kabocha Squash and you're looking for something to make, then this is definitely what I would suggest. You want to start by cutting it into 1 to 2 centimeter pieces, probably 2. Putting garam masala, salt, oil and pepper, mixing that in really nicely and preheating your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to be baking these in the oven for about 30 minutes while you get started on everything else. Slice your onions nice and thin and prepare your garlic as well for ease. You're going to cook your mustard seeds in some coconut oil with the curry leaves as well. When they start to pop, you're going to add in your onions and cook for around 12 minutes. I wanted to use the rest of the tomatoes from the garden, so we're going to be adding those in too. Add in your chili and your garlic, cook for a couple of minutes, and then add in your black-eyed peas. Add the tomatoes and cook until they're a little jammy, and then you're going to be adding the turmeric, salt, and the coconut milk. That's pretty much it. Stir everything until it's well incorporated, add in the squash once it's ready, and let it cook for about 5 minutes while everything warms up together. And that's honestly it. It only takes about 30 minutes in total and it's packed with flavour. We love this recipe and I actually make it maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. That curry is honestly so good. I just finished a massive bowl of it. I've just finished taking some extra notes and changing a few things, and I think I'm very happy with how this version turned out. I changed a few things, like added more tomatoes, more curry leaves, and a different proportion of black mustard seeds, and I think that it really made a big difference. While I get started on today's sourdough, I wanted to take a little time to talk about Back Market. I've been thinking about buying an iPad for a little while to help with things like note-taking for recipe development, to use for work whilst traveling, and to be honest, just watching YouTube in bed. But the price of these products new are astronomical, not to mention tech is one of the most unsustainable things to buy firsthand, which is why I went back and forth on this decision for a long time. Since moving to the US, I've had to find new options to replace my favourite places to buy more sustainable items. Backmarket is a reliable global marketplace for reborn tech where you can save money and use something already out in the world. Buying refurbished is both cost-effective and more sustainable. You can literally save hundreds of dollars and prevent electronic waste at the same time. E-waste is particularly harmful to the environment and is often exported to other countries to deal with the problem. In fact, new tech is wasteful at every level, from the extraction of raw materials to component production and upstream transport, to end of life, which includes, but is not limited to, incineration or landfill disposal. So buying refurbished just makes sense. Backmarket offers quality assurance and has a dedicated team to help you find the right choice for you. I really like the text on one of their banners that says, "It's not innovative if it ends up in landfill." I completely agree. Innovation and sustainability should go hand in hand. So the next time you're thinking of buying some new tech, consider buying refurbished and save both money and e-waste. Check out the description to learn more about Backmarket. This wouldn't be one of my videos without some English baked beans, and they're incredibly simple and easy to make. The ones in the US are particularly sweet and often have lard in them, so that's why I started making my own. Olive oil, red onion, and a jalapeno. Once those are cooked for about 12 minutes, I add in the garlic, cook for 1 to 2 minutes, and then the brown sugar. I add soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, and let that reduce until the liquid has pretty much evaporated. I'm pretty lazy, so I like to blend the whole tomatoes actually in the jar, and then I can save on some washing up. Once I've added the tomatoes, give it a good stir, and then I cover it and cook it for about 20 minutes. Afterwards, I uncover it, add in the beans, and let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. I couldn't find any navy beans, which is what I would prefer for this recipe, but Great Northern beans worked quite well. I toasted one of my misshapen bagels, added some vegan butter, and topped with my baked beans. This isn't for everyone, but if you do like baked beans on toast, then I would highly recommend making your own. They're so much nicer.
Bagel's nice.
I really love mashed potatoes. Like, I could eat mashed potatoes just on their own, or with like a really delicious thick mushroom gravy, something like that. So when it gets to this time of the year, 2 of my favorite things to eat are a shepherd's pie, which is what we're just about to make, or really nice kind of whipped, but not too smooth, with like a little rustic mashed potato with vegan sausages, braised red cabbage, and mushroom gravy. I wasn't sure if many people would like braised red cabbage, so I decided not to make that recipe for this video. But if there is something that you're interested in terms of, I guess in the UK we call it bangers and mash. I don't know what you would call it anywhere else, or if you call it that in different parts of the world. But that's one of my favorite things, and something I used to eat a lot when I wasn't vegan. And then being able to find really good vegan sausages made such a big difference. Also, mushroom gravy is just elite. Like, it really is elite. I love it so much. But yeah, if that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to add it in for the next video. Although it's pretty simple, so maybe you could figure it out on your own. You don't even need me, guys. You don't. I just got back from the gym, so it's like perfect timing to make this shepherd's pie. It's really delicious and hearty and warming, and there are lots of things that you can sub in if you don't like lentils. You can use a vegan meat if you want to, or you could just use mushrooms. You can add in walnuts or other nuts that you like, or just completely omit them. Lentils will make up the bulk of the kind of meaty section of this shepherd's pie, mainly because, well, I love lentils and I think lentils are really good for you, and I'm trying to get as much variety into my diet as possible. But I don't particularly like vegan meats. The only 2 I actually eat are the Impossible mince and the daring chicken. Everything else I don't tend to eat unless we go to like a vegan restaurant, which even that we don't really do very often anymore. Anyway, enough chit chat, enough waffling on. Let's make this shepherd's pie. I think shepherd's pie will always be one of my favourite things because I just grew up eating it all the time. It's something that my mum made for us quite often, and as I grew up I decided to really try to veganize or at least make a good vegetarian version of the things that I used to have because it feels really nostalgic and it just really reminds me of home. I started by adding everything to a blender, all the vegetables, because I couldn't be bothered to spend ages chopping them up all really small. And then I sauteed them for about 12 minutes while I chopped the garlic. Then of course I added that in, all of the mushrooms which I forgot to chop up pretty small. And then I chopped up rosemary very, very small because who likes to find big chunks of rosemary in meals? I mean, I certainly don't. I also added the tomato paste, gave that a couple of minutes, and then added all the extra stuff in like soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, and a little bit too much Marmite. I misread my instructions and put in a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon. Then I added everything else in and let it cook down for about 20 minutes. I made the mistake of putting in dried lentils and they were a little bit chewy, I won't lie. The mashed potato is probably the most important part. I added some vegan butter, some oat milk, and Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, and then give that a really good smushing. Once everything is ready, I just add it to a dish that can go in the oven, top it with all of the potato and eat the leftovers, and then baked it in the oven for about 25 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. We very much enjoyed this, but thanks to the Marmite, I ruined it just a little bit. Don't be me. I love mac and cheese, but vegan mac and cheese just does not do it for me. So I've been trying to create a creamy pasta recipe that mimics a version of something very luxurious, but doesn't include vegan cheese because it's not really my thing. So anyway, I decided to try and caramelize some red onions. Usually I would not use white onions, but we didn't have any. And then I cooked down some mushrooms, added garlic, and then some balsamic vinegar and vegetable stock. I added some vegan cream, but I made the horrible mistake of buying vegan cream that was lightly sweetened and really for desserts, so that ruined the dish. But I still ate it. It's a work in progress. Wouldn't recommend this quite yet. We still have a way to go, but I'm still looking for that creamy pasta dish for autumn. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Okay, well that's it from me. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, albeit quite chaotic. If you are looking for some tech, please try and buy refurbished. Back Market is a really great option, so don't forget to check them out in the description.